I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. It's a meeting of the Inland Wetlands Agency of the town of Woodbridge. First time on the agenda this evening is the town's application for the drainage and sidewalk work on Newton Road. I assume that's what you're here for, right?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. You have the floor. If you want to just sort of describe what the project is.
sure, thank you. My name is Roy Seeley. I'm a professional engineer licensed in the state of Connecticut, and I'm a project manager and I was the lead engineer on the town center sidewalk project working for the town. Cardinal Engineering was hired by the town to design this phase of the sidewalk project. Hopefully I can talk loud enough while I stand up. But this is just a quick overview of the project area. The purpose of the project was pedestrian safety. Primarily to get the students from Amity High School over here off of Newton Road to the athletic fields to the southwest. Currently, there's a crosswalk here at the end of their driveway, but there's no sidewalks, and they typically walk down along the road and then cut across the church property, and then walk along the roadway, come down the driveway here along the town hall, and work their way over to the fields. So as I said, one of the goals is to promote pedestrian safety, give the kids a safe route without having to cut through the church property. Purpose is to extend the sidewalk system within the town center. Oh, just so you know, here's Newton Road, we have Center Street, Meeting House Lane, Town Hall, Library, Police and Community Center, etc. And as I said, the church and Amity High School. You have the old firehouse as well. And as I said, the athletic fields. Just a little bit of a blow up, and to keep it in the same direction, I can turn it, but north is to the right now. So town hall is here, community center, library, Newton Road, Meeting House Lane, Amity High School driveway, just to get you centered on what we're proposing. So back quite a few years ago now, there was a phase one of the project. As you know, there's this small section of sidewalk that was constructed on the south side of Meeting House Lane. It's concrete with stained and a brick pattern in it. And the town, like I said, wanted to extend that project. First of all, we'll extend it heading west on Meeting House Lane to the intersection of Newton and Meeting House, run it south along Newton Road, and then connect back into the entrance to the library. Second leg of the project is to put in a crosswalk at the intersection with Meeting House and Newton, run north along the west side of Newton Road to where that existing crosswalk is. And a third part of the project is the town would like to replace the brick sidewalk right here in front of Town Hall. The bricks pop up, a lot of frost heave, there's some broken bricks. It's a maintenance problem, so the town's looking for us to put in concrete sidewalks there as well. But one of the problems is that as we're constructing the sidewalk along Newton Road, I don't know how familiar you folks are with the area, but there tends to be a lot of ponding in this area, in the lawn, and the church lawn, and the property here as well. And by constructing the sidewalks, we'll be raising the grade. So we'll be trapping more water than is getting trapped there now. So our thought was to install a couple yard drains along the side of the sidewalk to catch whatever water's getting trapped, put in an under drain piping system, to get the water into the ground as much as possible. And then we get to the end of the sidewalk, we'll construct storm drainage in the roadway, discharging in the brook to the north. So this is just a partial print of the plan. Again, the intersection of Meeting House and Newton is here, but this is the area of greater concern, is that, again, we're putting in a 5-foot concrete sidewalk about 5 feet from the edge of road. We wanted to have a proper buffer for the snow belt, as well as to buffer the kids away from the traffic. So we thought a 5-foot grass strip would be adequate there. But again, the grade will be raised slightly, so we're afraid we'd be trapping more water. But because of that, because of the 5-foot buffer and a 5-foot sidewalk, and the angled right-of-way, that the storm drainage is actually gonna be partially constructed on the church property, and the town is working with the church on acquiring an easement for the construction and the maintenance of the storm drainage. Again, once we get here to the end of the sidewalk, we have the existing crosswalk here, we're moving the storm drainage into the roadway and moving it, discharging to the north. And when we get to Old Mill, discussing with Warren Connors, they have issues with drainage here, so we're also adding some catch basins at the intersection to allow the town to alleviate any ponding that's occurring at the intersection. And as we continue to the north, we'll get to the brook that empties the ponds on the Amity High School side, on the east side, and which then carries over across Newton Road to the brook, and which then continues, as you know, further to the west. Just a little blow up of the area of the discharge and the impact on the wetlands. We'll come to a catch basin. Here's the existing culvert. It's approximately 2.5 by 3.5 foot arch corrugated metal pipe. There's currently some riprap here, the riprap swale that was installed to alleviate some erosion. So we thought we would just come, put a catch basin in, discharge at the brook, replace the riprap's embankment protection, and there'll be some minor impacts directly within the wetlands and some temporary impacts within the stream. A total of 35 square feet of temporary and permanent impacts within the wetlands and the water course. These are just some photographs of the stream, just so you can get familiar with it. One thing I'm not sure is why there's a telephone pole across the wetlands. I don't know if it was just, I know they replaced the pole here, and whether it was just left there or it was at the town's request to get left there, but you have the utility pole. This is the west side of the roadway, utility pole. There's some wooden posts acting as guardrail. I don't know if you can see, but this is looking south, so this is the existing riprap, which is being eroded, and that had been previously installed, and you do have some erosion there. And this is a view, again, I apologize, I don't know if you can see it, but this is a view of the northern embankment. And this is kind of a blow up of the stream area. And this is the culvert coming across the roadway. There's a stone wall, as you can see it here. The stone wall ends right at the brook. There's a lot of stones that had fallen into the brook. And then, again, the stone wall continues here, and it's really in poor shape. There's a lot of debris, stones, etc. In the water course. And that's the project in a nutshell. Again, the whole idea is to construct these sidewalks to provide a safe route for primarily the kids, but also for people using the town center, having access, for all the town facilities here on Meeting House Lane.
Where you have the system draining into the brook, is there any kind of like plunge pool or anything there, or is it just level ground coming out and into the brook, or?
It'll be riprap.
Okay.
It'll be, we'll extend the riprap embankment protection just a little. That's what this actually, the direct wetland impact is the riprap splash pad. It's not a plunge pool, it's just some riprap to slow down the water to a small degree as it discharges into the brook.
I'm interested. You're going to put in a very efficient system to collect the water that does not currently exist, and the water's all going to go into the brook. Is there any risk that this higher flow rate, which now becomes possible, will cause the brook to flow downstream? I don't know if that's a rational question, but.
Well, it could be, we didn't, to be honest.
I don't know.
We analyzed our pipe, we didn't analyze the.
I'm sure it'll
entire
carry the water.
Right.
That's not,
And our first thought, to be honest,
yeah.
was to take the water and, again, I'll put it so north is up, just so it's, and try to get the water to this wetlands over here,
Yeah.
because it's a fairly large wetland area. Problem is, there's an electrical duct, fairly large one, and telephone ducts that run down the roadway that feed the high school. And we couldn't get our storm drainage across the road. Currently there's a culvert here, a pipe that crosses here, but that's uphill from where we are. And and it's fairly shallow, it goes over the electrical ducts and telephone ducts. So we couldn't use this one. There's a catch basin here, we would have loved to have tied into that existing catch basin. But again, the ducts were in the way. So, working with, discussing it with the town, they thought that putting drainage down the roadway, because it does, the water gets there now.
Yeah,
It's just that it's gonna get there a little
No, it's just a
faster.
question of rate.
Right,
That's,
right, the peak rate probably would be increased.
Yeah.
But again, we're trying
I mean,
to,
if the brook has lots of capability, then it doesn't matter.
right, and one thing we did think about is if we installed this sidewalk, is we could have just graded back. But that would have been a greater impact on the church property. But we could have graded back to allow the water to run off without having to put in the drains. But again, we wanted to minimize the impact on the church property. We wanted to collect the water that's getting trapped. And again, discussions with the town, they like the idea of having storm drainage installed.
For some distance of the sidewalk, though, the drainage is through an under drain, right? Or is it all coming through this pipe down into the brook?
The under drain is connected to the,
Oh, it's connected with that whole
It's
system
all
is connected?
connected.
Oh, it is, okay.
I apologize because it's probably not very clear, but this is the under drain system. This is the
Okay.
end of the sidewalk. We then connect to a catch basin here, and then it's a solid pipe the rest of the way
Okay,
to the brook.
so all of it drains down to the brook?
All of it drains to the brook, but the idea was to
That's
get
the
as much
reason I asked.
water that's getting trapped into the ground as much as possible.
You couldn't do some of that with like a gallery or something like that and just have some of it, go into the water table more
Well, that was the
directly?
purpose of the under drain. It's actually
Oh.
to dissipate the water, not collect it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to compliment the commissioners. It's a very important point, is the quicker we get these waters, these surface waters into our streams, that creates problems for people downstream. It's something that we should be very cognizant of, and just as the engineer said, principally our interest is to have the water infiltrate back into the ground right where it falls. So it was a very smart point that you made there, Commissioner Goldberg, so I wanted to just say that.
We see what goes
But
on.
about that, so the only problem, so I have no problem with the proposal, I think it's very well done. But it occurs to me, I just wanted to confirm that your note on a few of these pages, which begins with clean out accumulated sediment, this is what I could consider a maintenance schedule or a maintenance plan.
Right,
Because these traps, these sumps are gonna catch, everything from candy wrappers to, lost sunglasses, and they shouldn't end up in.
Right. Possibly a cell phone, or, yeah.
And a cell phone.
Set of keys.
I'm
Yeah.
sure,
But yeah, a lot of trash and et cetera, does get.
and so this is, what I'm seeing in note 11, clean out accumulated sediment when one half, this is what I would consider a maintenance schedule.
Right, right.
All right, very good, I think the plan is very well thought out, thank you.
Just one question, going back to, I think it was the upper left-hand picture that you had with the, yeah, do you plan on cleaning that up as part of this project?
We hadn't, only because we wanted to minimize the impact, but we could certainly add that in. There is a lot of debris, like I said, a lot of stones have fallen in over time. I don't know if the wall went across the brook at one time, but it's certainly in very poor shape now. And we could certainly remove the large stones, but I think they also act somewhat to mitigate any
Yeah,
velocity.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
velocities, yeah.
I was
So-
thinking more of the telephone pole, which
Yeah, I'm not sure
Probably
the reason
doesn't-
why that telephone pole, whether
probably
Frontier
doesn't
needs to
belong.
be called to get it taken out of there.
It's-
Or is it acting somewhat as additional protection since there's only 4 wooden posts acting as guardrail at this time?
I wouldn't disturb that area, yeah, just let it stay, probably dates back to the 1800s or something, maybe.
No, not the
Whatever.
telephone pole.
The telephone pole.
Well, I
Dates
don't know
back
if
to
it's
the
I don't know
Well,
if it's that old. Alexander
Maybe an
Graham Bell
electric
may have
pole,
installed
it's
it.
electric. But the point is yeah, I wouldn't pull that up.
Yeah. And, we thought about pulling the outlet back and putting swales in, but the stone wall is right here and the edge road is right here. There really wasn't any room to excavate and put in a swale to try to mitigate, the work right here in the wetlands.
Is that brook area town property or is it private property? I was just curious.
It's town property. Well,
Okay.
Dorenzo?
yeah, the property line is right here.
Okay.
Does that brook flow regularly, or is it more intermittent?
No, I think it flows constantly, because
Because
Drains
it's
the
draining
pond.
from those
it's draining
wetlands.
the ponds, yeah,
At the high
here,
school, yeah.
from the
Which-
high school. So
which-
here's the pond at the entrance drive,
Yeah,
and the stream comes and then crosses. And then forget the name of the brook the major brook that,
Weeple?
connects.
Racebrook.
Yeah, right.
No, that's not, that's the Weppawag. Racebrook
Yeah,
is over
that's what I
on,
said.
on Pease.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think crosses right now.
Yeah, we belong, yeah.
It also, this also drains the pond that's on the land trust property that's on Center Road opposite Terry Cowson's field.
Is that the
and-
Fitzgerald?
And Sharon's, no,
Is that
and
this
Sharon
pond here?
DeCotte's
The
house.
pond, yeah, there's a
Oh,
Yeah.
pond there.
okay, yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that
can see
feeds
the
north,
stream. Yeah, I can see the stream that then connects to the pond. And then
so it flows all year.
Mhm. Okay. You have anything to say,
have-
Chris, or? No?
I was hoping it wasn't gonna dump straight in the stream, but
Yeah, as I said, we looked at it various ways, and unfortunately, this is the only option that seems to work.
I mean, I can ask if the phone pole could get removed and perhaps they can put those low wooden fences in. I mean, for a long time, they had parents waiting there for when the kids were getting out of school.
Yeah.
And so there's a no parking sign there. It could get dressed up, I can ask. You know, I don't know that the pole's doing all that much. I don't think you're gonna need any oil separators or anything in there, cause what's coming in is off lawn and
Yeah.
whatnot. I mean, there is some coming in from the corner of Old Mill, but I
Right,
think it's
the storm
marginal
drains.
what's there. And
Do
it
those-
does really pond in that area.
Yeah. Do the catch basins at Old Mill have sumps in them, or are they just,
They all, yeah, they all have some.
they do?
Call for 4-foot sumps if I recall. And we can always put hoods on them. I don't think Warren wanted hoods, but you can always put some kind of hood on the outlet pipe at each basin, which further traps. Because it's an online, or inline system, water from catch basin A goes to catch basin B, and can stir up, what's already in the sump, so. But, it's whatever you folks would like.
Well, the sumps are some help, that's for sure, as long as they're cleaned once in a while.
The town
Town
has a
does a great job.
vigorous
Yeah.
cleaning
Yeah.
schedule, they always do it, it's part of their stormwater management.
So
And
that's some comfort,
for-
I guess.
yeah.
So,
Is this, are these plans dated April 22, 2024?
Yes.
Okay, just didn't see it on the side here, so I see it on the front. So
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
we
Well, we
can't, cause it's
because
right in the
it could be
wetlands.
We have to wait a month.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. All right, then.
Can I ask one more
Sure,
question?
yeah, definitely.
Which is not necessarily about the qualifications of this proposal, but your information is based on two methodologies and the data from the NOAA Atlas 14.
Correct.
I'm just curious, given what has happened in Vermont twice, there's been dramatically intense storms that nobody predicted based on that, I assume, the same kind of
Right.
database. Is there, I don't think we're gonna have a flood here, but is the Atlas 14 take into consideration any of the climate change impacts?
It does. The Atlas 14 has taken the more severe rainstorms into effect,
Okay.
but the calculations are based on a 24-hour long storm, right? And what we're finding is, as you probably know, the storms are much shorter in duration, but a lot of water in that short period of time. But for designing a storm drainage system in a roadway, that's the system we use. If this was, say, for instance, when we design bridges and culverts, we look at that much shorter time span.
Okay.
And, it
Plan for
increases
that.
the size, unfortunately, of the structure and the cost. But we're finding that and also when we do large-scale site developments, the same thing. We look at, that shorter term, because it does have a greater impact.
Thank you, I just was for my own edification that I asked, I guess.
That's a good question, too.
All right, yeah, very good. Anything else? All right, we're all set for this evening, so.
Great.
Chris, I don't think he'll have to come back next month. We could probably
No,
act without having him come back.
Unless you have some
Yeah.
questions, I
Yeah,
don't think you
and,
need
if
to.
everybody comes up with some other question, just to save the town some money, we can ask those questions before the next meeting through Chris, so. All
Okay.
Yes.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So now you get to add to your agenda the application I
Right.
distributed.
Do we have a motion to add to the agenda, Mr. Quill's application for his Eagle Scout project? Jack moved, we have second, Stephen seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay, you wanna come on up if you can?
I've already lost it. Where did I put it?
We're very informal here, so if you want to just briefly describe what you're looking to do, and then we'll start talking about it.
Members of the Inland Wetland Commission. I'm a life scout with Troop 63 Woodbridge. I recently took upon my Eagle Scout project for the goal of becoming an Eagle Scout. I first became in contact with the park and the Woodbridge Park Association on any projects they might need for trail restoration, drainage, or repavement. They stated that, or there's 3 sections with my project. However, the second section, which would be creating a permanent drainage trench on top of already a natural rainwater and standing water drainage into the river, is a part of my project to prevent standing water from overflooding onto the trail. I do believe pictures were printed out, but over the rainwater comes down around the mound where the eastern skunk cabbage, and it naturally flows into the river at the bottom. However, over the years, due to a number of factors, excess rainwater and erosion, there's become an issue of standing water sort of diverting off that natural path, and it's creeping slower and slower over to the Blue Trail. Soon enough, it's going to overflood onto the trail and create a hazard for the hikers and bikers and people that utilize the trail. There already is, that issue is already present on multiple other parts of the trail, which are being addressed. However, my proposal for a trench to be dug around that mound, a permanent drainage trench, and then filled in with 3/4 inch stone would require permission from the Wetland Commission. So that's why I'm here today.
Chris, are you familiar with the area? You have anything
I've
to
only
add?
hiked that area once,
Mhm.
and I wasn't looking for his
Yeah,
project.
exactly.
Is the position of this photograph, as you're entering from the church property and going down the hill, is it before that bridge?
It's just after that bridge.
Just after the bridge?
Just after that bridge. So once you cross over the bridge to your right, that's exactly where my project would be.
And that has flooded there after the bridge, huh?
It hasn't flooded, but over the years,
Oh, I see. It's-
standing water has begun to creep closer and closer
Yeah,
to the
these
trail.
little- yeah.
Yeah, just those parts right there, and that's looking to be addressed because there are multiple other parts of the trail where upkeep has not been maintained, and as a result, flooding has become an issue on parts of the trail. We're looking to not only take care of those issues, but an issue like that, mitigate future flooding by tackling it before it becomes an issue.
Okay, and so you will dig a trench along the path here? I'm sorry. Did
So
not
I believe
understand?
in one of the pictures I provided, there's a yellow tape measure running across the mound. That would be the approximate location of where we were looking to build the trench. It would be where the rainwater is currently.
We have two pictures. I don't see such a picture. How many pictures did
Did
you
we-
submit, young man?
I submitted 3 pictures.
We only have two.
And there were only 2 that were in the,
Oh, okay.
you wanna see what you sent?
Can you, yeah, maybe you could just
Yeah.
hold it up and,
Yeah, we kinda need
So
to
there,
see. the
oops,
trenches.
Yeah.
there was this one. Oops, and then there was this one.
Thought I submitted 3 pictures, but it would be around 3 to 4 feet out from the trail, so it wouldn't be directly next to the trail. It would be, it's hard to describe with pictures.
oh,
but
okay,
I
so
mean,
it's kind of.
yeah, exactly, just
right.
along,
You
so.
can see that there's a little bit of a rise there.
Yeah, so
Okay.
just where that starts to rise, that's where rainwater naturally comes down around that mound into the stream. We're looking to just, right on that path, just create a 22-foot long by 16-inch wide by 12-foot, or 12-inch deep trench. And then fill it with 3/4 inch stone, gravel to maintain the integrity of the trench.
That's a lot of digging.
Where are
Yes.
you gonna put that? What you dig out, where are you gonna put that?
Haven't thought that part through yet. We're still looking into
I mean,
the
that's a
specifics.
lot
it,
of,
Wet earth,
it's a lot of dirt,
yeah,
or a lot of
and
something.
rocks.
Well, we could probably have him work with Chris once, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, we will be utilizing a lot of wheelbarrows and mechanical machinery for the project due to this is only one portion of the project, and the 2 other portions do require a backhoe and dump truck transportation and such. So I'm sure utilizing wheelbarrows to transport the wetland dirt out of the construction area wouldn't be a problem. We will have a lot of manpower as it is an Eagle Scout project. A lot of members of the troop do tend to assist with projects like this.
Well, that'll be good.
I have a question about, this is what, sort of like a curtain drain. You're gonna collect water, and where does it come out once you collect it in this trench? I don't understand that part.
So naturally, as of right now, the water flows into the river, down. That's where we would be redirecting it, just
So the trench will take the water,
down into the river. Yes.
won't it have to cross the path to do that? That's what I don't understand. I don't know where the water's going, I'm sorry.
No worries. So I believe in one of the pictures, just to the right, that's where the river is. The water flows down.
So you're not gonna cross the path? Okay, so.
No. Yeah. So.
All right, yes, I figure, yeah, there's the stream and you're going that way.
Yeah. So.
Okay, back towards the bridge.
Yeah.
In the
so-
last picture, this is the river up here, right?
Yeah,
So,
the river's
so,
on the right.
so picture this paper is a trail right here.
Yeah,
The drainage issue is over here. So it
Okay.
comes along this mound, and this
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
river right here. We're just draining it down into the river.
I
So
understand.
it would never cross the trail.
I got it.
So you just, and that was my question, is this trench intended to communicate between two different areas? And it looks like you're conveying water from one side of a high point to the other side of a high point and into the river. Is that what's happening? You're creating a conveyance of this water?
The rainwater already travels down from a high section down to a lower section. However, just due to the topography over the years, just sort of settling down with, with all the rainwater we've been getting, it's again started to muddy the waters towards the trail. Soon enough, it is going to backflow. So it already does naturally go down a sort of ramp down into the river. We're just looking to, on that natural pathway, create more of a permanent drainage trench for the water. So as it stands right now, we're not going to interrupt the path that the rainwater is already taking and draining into the stream. We're just looking to make a more permanent solution for that drainage.
Were these projects, were these locations identified by the Park Association?
Yes, so I already presented my proposal from the Park Association. It was already approved. That happened before we found out that I needed approval from this commission to proceed with the second portion of my project. However, I did get sign off from the superintendent of the approval as provided in my application to go before the commission and get a permit for the project.
Okay.
I see that. Did he accompany you out in the field?
He did, yeah.
Good.
So we did one walkthrough around a month ago, and then I did another walkthrough a few weeks ago with my father, and we got permanent measurements of all the projects and got some more detailed pictures. Those are the pictures that I took a few weeks ago. But yeah, we did do a full walkthrough, me and him, and then I did go before their committee and gain approval from the entire committee.
Did you produce these same materials to that committee, or did you have additional or any other materials?
I did take original pictures for my first walkthrough with the Trailmaster, Nate Case, or Nathaniel Case. So those pictures in less descriptive detail that I'm providing to you guys were essentially the same that I provided to the other committee.
Okay. Are there minutes of the meetings of that committee? Do you know?
It's a private association.
It is a private association, but they were taking, in the same fashion of this same committee where they called the meeting to order, take minutes. I'm sure that someone was taking notes and everything like that.
Thank you.
Plus, they've signed off on the application.
I see that,
so,
yeah. Thank you. Great job in your presentation.
Thank you.
I guess the only thing that I heard that concerned me a little bit was to the extent that there's gonna be like machinery in this area where the ground is already soft and wet. I was just wondering if that could be minimized, because that's usually the type of thing we get concerned about, so.
So we don't plan to take any machinery off the trail.
Okay.
According to the park association, we are permitted, the trail can sustain machinery on the
The trail
bounds
itself,
of the
okay,
trail.
all right.
As of right now, we don't have any plans to utilize machinery in digging the trenches that would be off the trail. It would, the type of machinery that would be required to keep it on the trail while also building that type of trench is just not feasible for my project. So we are going to utilize shovels and manual work to
Okay.
get the build the trenches.
There are many trees that in that general area, correct?
In that wetlands.
Where you wanna dig?
So yeah, in those wetlands, it's ferns and eastern skunk cabbage
Yeah,
is.
no, I
present.
mean, it's not just gonna be shovels, you're gonna
Yeah.
have other things to cut the roots.
Yes, we have a lot of tools that we plan on utilizing for underground obstructions.
I could watch you dig all day.
This is going to be a long project. We're planning it out over multiple days. So
Yeah.
All right, okay. Just one other concern, I guess, while you've done a great job in proposing your proposal, your materials are kind of bare bones in a sense, so a lot of times we would ask to see what kind of sedimentation and erosion control measures, silt fences, hay bales, and things like that. So maybe I expect, Chris, that you will, ensure, I guess, that there are sedimentation and erosion control measures, if there's any dewatering of the water and things like that, whatever's coming up.
He's not doing anything directly in the stream, and so, I mean, if.
It's working
We
right
can
beside it,
always time it so that you're not doing it in the middle of a deluge, so you're not gonna have sediment washing down.
Yeah, I mean, the disturbance to put, silt fence or even sleeves.
Probably more intense than,
Than the
than the
digging
work
out the little 12-inch channel or whatever it is that will be involved, which we'll do by hand. So I don't know. Silt fence is expensive, and I don't think we can saddle them with that expense as long as it's done at a time where it's not soupy.
yeah, if it's done,
Chris
when,
could
we don't have any
We're saying the
storm.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's just the proximity to the wetland. I see it's already wet, so if there were a storm event,
Yeah.
obviously we'd have,
I don't think you'd want to be out there in the sinking in the mud either. So
Well, and he can work back from where it's gonna
True.
end, so that there's never an open portion that's directly feeding in, anything
the
that's,
fine.
that
Yeah, I
is
just wanna
done is
raise the
stone and
consciousness of the point,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
and of course, we're not going to be the trench and the rock that's going to be filled in is not going to be built up directly against or even close to the river. Once it sort of crests down below the level of the trail is where we're going to stop the trench, because beyond that the water is just going to flow down naturally as it has been. So there won't be any impact or any impact to the river or any type of modification to that.
And if he needs to make a little level spreader there, of
Yeah.
some vintage,
Right.
he can just use the material
all
that
the
he's
rocks
got.
that he's been digging
Yeah.
out. All right. Just mechanically, and Chris has probably explained this to you, because it's activity in the wetland area. We can't decide tonight. We have to wait till next month to decide. But I don't really see any issues unless somebody comes up with something in the next month. So okay.
Thank you so much.
Schedule the work, huh?
Thank you.
And I mean, he could probably start the other parts.
That's
of
what
his
I
project,
said, you
yeah.
can start the non-us part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just with the timing of my, these sort of projects need to go through council and stuff like that. We are planning to start around July in the summer. So I don't anticipate that
A 1 month delay won't.
particular issue won't extend to July. Hopefully.
Oh, no,
but,
they're-
Plus it'll be warmer for you, more humid. It'll be a lot more
Yeah.
fun. So, yeah.
Gnats, mosquitoes, ticks.
It'll be drier too, so that'd be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the July, August is a good time.
Yeah,
Their
we plan
next
on that.
regular meeting will be on June 19th.
Yeah. So we plan on doing this on a few days stretch in July when there's no rain, any weather impacts, nice sunny days. So.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, moving right along here. No correspondence or anything we need to talk about, right, Chris?
There wasn't, I forwarded you any information that came electronically, so,
Okay.
that's the only stuff that came.
We got forwarded something that came electronically?
We had some information about some aquatic stuff a couple weeks ago,
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I must
Yeah.
have missed that.
and that was about it.
Okay.
thanks.
Oh, enforcement officer report. So what's going on with our favorite?
Hasn't rained much, except for tonight when it's gonna rain, so I'll go out to the pond tomorrow. I did go to 106, Seymour. I've been several times out there. They haven't yet installed the pole that's coming any day now, so as soon as the pole gets installed, then the swale will be totally rerouted and whatnot. But he has filled in, you know, I would say probably 15 feet or more back from the pond. So there's nothing drainage-wise that's feeding directly into the pond at this point, except for where the pipe is that feeds onto a riprap splash pad that's from the footing drains around the house. So again, you know, I haven't seen any erosion into the pond, and he did remove, you know, his son was in there with the waders and took out the logs and all that other good stuff, so.
Does he still plan to come in with an application and do something else
At
with
the
the pond?
moment, he's not all that enthused about coming back.
No. Okay.
Well, okay, well,
Well, you're monitoring the situation, so.
So we'll watch it and see
yeah,
what
I'm sure
happens.
Stephen will be out there checking things too, so.
well, I mean, it's interesting. I hope that, you know, I'm not sure the story's been written on this, because I've documented impacts to that wetland area, so, you know, my instincts are telling me that there may need to be some remediation or some kind of a report about what impacts took place there. I mean, I have pictures of
You
the
mean the
water brown.
pond? You mean the pond?
Well, there's a couple of ponds there, actually, but
Well, the only one that's directly being impacted is the upper pond,
let's call it that, the upper pond.
yeah.
So that's been impacted. There's still debris in there from the, you know, what appears to be the tree clearing process going back months and months. So,
We can take a look at that. And,
Yeah,
You know,
let's
it's, the
see.
water level in it is
What-
dropping, so.
Yeah, once, and plus, once the pole gets in there and he stabilizes around there, then it'll be better.
Yeah.
We could take a look and,
The grass
Yes,
that
go
I
on.
had mentioned to you that they were putting in and seeding, that's starting to come up, you know, along the swale, and whatnot, so.
Swale is on the downhill side from the house?
The swale goes from across the top
East side.
along the driveway, and then there's a culvert that goes underneath the driveway, and then it ends. And originally, it was dumping directly into that upper pond,
Yeah,
and now he's stopped that.
Okay.
And he's filled in the swale that he had there for at least 15 feet or more. I haven't measured it. So there's no direct, you know, and I've
Okay.
quite truthfully never really observed much velocity of water coming down that way. I've seen more coming out of the pipe from the curtain drains around the house.
yeah, there's a little trickle there. I stopped there on my way here tonight, and there's a trickle on the far side of that pond where you can still see the stone
There's always
wall.
been a trickle there. I
That seemed
suspect that
natural.
there's a spring or something
Yeah.
in that pond.
But there's raw dirt right up to the very edge of the pond.
Yeah, there is
Oh,
raw
okay,
dirt,
that's
but
happened,
it's-
okay. That's what, you've observed that, okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
not
it
new, in
hasn't,
other words.
that dirt hasn't been moving. What had accumulated in the pond was when the swale was open all the way down and didn't have any riprap in it or filter fabric.
Yeah.
And so then there had been sediment that carried in. So now he's got the riprap in the swale, he's got fabric underneath, and he's filled in so that there's no way for a direct, I mean, hypothetically, we could see something going in.
Yeah,
I'll go out in the morning and watch. You know, we really haven't had, since your last meeting, a really significant rainfall to watch from, so.
yeah, well, hopefully by next month, things will have stabilized somewhat and grass will grow or whatever he's done.
Yeah,
to-
I mean, the grass is starting to grow on the upside, but that's my circuitous route home.
Okay. We'll follow up with that next month then. And nothing else with Fox Den or anything like that, I haven't heard, I
No,
think so. Okay. Good.
It's still low,
Mhm.
and it's still discharging,
Okay, so that's working at least.
and there's lots of ducks and geese, frogs, turtles.
Any other problems anywhere around town that are
Not,
wetlands related?
not for you guys, no.
Yeah,
Zoning, yeah, but not for you.
yeah, okay. All right, anything else? Anybody else talk about as far as that kind of stuff? Otherwise, we'll move on to, I don't know if anybody's had a chance to read the minutes.
She did.
I did.
Yes, you did?
Two of these.
I did,
I only found one little thing, so, but I'll let Jean take the floor.
okay.
Jean will hand it to me.
Yeah, I can give them to you. What I found puzzling was the phraseology when the property is described and who the owner is. It's been done different ways, like the property of him and his wife seemed very awkward to me. Another time it was the property of he and his wife,
So tell me what you want to do.
owned by. Instead of property of, property
Property of.
owned by him and his wife, because you take out,
Well, just make a note on the thing.
it's there, okay.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I mean, it's difficult because
There's just a
he's
couple
the
other little
sole
wording
applicant.
things, yeah.
If they were both applicants, I could just say the applicant's property.
Oh, I see, when they're not both.
But they were not
Ah,
both the
okay.
applicant.
Well, that informs me a
And
little
in
bit.
both cases, it
I-
was the husband making the application.
I had never noticed it before, but because it was twice in the same minutes and then different each time, I thought, this is just, John McWhorter needs to help. So,
Is that all you have?
that's, I had a couple other little typos, but I can give those to her.
Okay.
It's fine.
Missing word on page 2.
Yeah, did I catch a missing word on page 2?
And I just have one little thing on page 1.
Yes, and two duplicates on page 4, so, yeah.
Okay, with Jean's ever vigilant,
Oh, yeah, that one I missed.
ever
Oh, my
vigilant,
So then I
God.
missed it, yeah.
ever
I saw
vigilant
it on the
review,
computer.
with those changes, do we have a motion to approve the minutes? They're all fairly minor, that's why I'm
Yeah, they're just,
outlining
there's
them,
no
so.
significant, no.
We have a motion to approve the minutes?
Content change.
Let's make a motion to approve.
David moved, Josh seconded, all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstentions, okay, we're all set with that. Anything else we need, well, site visits, we just did minutes. Anything else we need to talk about?
Dinner?
We could
Not
do that
yet.
after, what?
No, not during the meeting.
We could do that after the meeting, but yes. Anything else? Otherwise, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Jack moved, second? David? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, we're done, looks like about 8:17, so, thank you, everybody, have a good night.